Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry, sometimes you just remember some good shit. Welcome to the Bottom of the Bottom podcast.
Hey, what up, everybody? You already know what it is. It's the Hummmpday Happy Hour Tap In, and today we got a special guest. Hey, you already know how my brother is. I don't mean to jump around, but his internet's horrible. We're gonna get him a commercial. We're gonna do a GoFundMe. We're gonna do everything for him to get the internet. He's supposed to get it next week, but today we got a special guest, a legend in Columbia, South Carolina. I've been listening to her on the radio for years. I hate to say it like that, but for years I've been listening to her on the radio. I've seen her at a couple clubs, a couple events, and she just has that noticeable voice. We've had other Columbia legends like Prince Ice and Kryptonite and Frosty and Venom, and all these people help people in Columbia, get through time, through the radios, through the, events that they held, through the events that they support. So we like to invite Miss Neek to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. You and your brother. It's an honor to be here with you guys.
Yeah, he's about to be my half brother because everybody know his internet be shitty, and I be talking shit about it, and I don't even care. But we make it work. So I
Okay.
just wanted to point out because my brother's intro is a lot better than mine, but you have a long list of stuff, and I just want to highlight that you are on air personality, and you are the program director, assistant program director of music and mix shows director. See, my brother does all the reading. I just make all the jokes. So
Oh, okay.
That's how we make it work. That's how we
Gotcha.
make it work.
It's
But
a tag team
I
thing
wanted to
going
get
on.
that.
I got it.
Yeah, man, he reads all the books and I make all the jokes, so we make it work. I always fumble and bumble, so I appreciate you coming on today, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so check this out. So we got this thing that we do, and it's just like it's like an icebreaker.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you know about Drink Champs and shows like that. They got their own thing. So we got this thing that we do, and it's called First Call. Oh shoot, First Call. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We got this thing called First Call, and First Call is just random questions. Usually my brother asks 5, I ask 5, but
Okay.
since he's not here, I'm gonna do all 10 just to break the ice. So my first question would be, what movie remake are you mad about?
Coming to America.
You didn't like the remake?
I guess it wasn't bad, but I guess I had a certain type of expectation. And it wasn't it wasn't bad, but it just didn't meet my expectation. So, yeah.
I thought the storyline was dope, just because they made it seem like it was real because the whole one night stand thing,
Mm.
like
Yeah,
they made that seem like, yeah, that can happen.
but it's like it went from rated R to PG-13.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
So,
So
I guess I was expecting some of the cuss words and a little bit of the raunchiness or whatever, but it's all good. You are supposed to grow and evolve and mature. So I think that's what they showed also in that remake for Coming to America.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I thought it was very lightweight, like they did it just for nostalgia reasons. So it
Mm,
wasn't great, but the storyline matched, so nobody's not really too mad about it compared to other
right.
stuff that was remade. So which one are you happy that got made?
Mm, gosh, I had to think about that for a second. Mm, I'm trying to think recently. Oh, Wakanda. Wakanda
Oh,
Forever. Mm-hmm.
I watched it a couple months ago and turned it back on when I saw it on Disney Saturday. Ended up falling asleep, and my daughter turned it right back on again. Like as soon as it ended, she started it back, and I think I left. But I thought it was good. I was just, when you watch a movie, sometimes you got to be in the movie feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned it
Absolutely.
on. Yeah, I turned it on just to watch it, but I didn't even watch it.
Right.
Um, what is one of my favorite questions? When last time you fell?
Man, it's been some years. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. I actually did fall in, was it 2022? I had on some heels and, I didn't see that there was a little dip in the parking lot. And, I stepped right in it and was like, ooh. So, with
Oh man.
5-inch heels on. So I'm so glad like I didn't twist my ankle or anything like that. But yep, I did just fall last year. But before that, it's been quite a few years before I did that. So
You by yourself?
no, I was actually with two friends. So first, it was like, hey, are you okay? And this
Yeah.
is like, yeah, I'm okay. And then it's like, ah, so it's one of those things.
Oh well. To carry on for question number 4. Worse to fall in public or fall in the shower by yourself?
In public. In public, you don't want anybody to see you fall because you know what's going to happen. First, people will initially be like, hey, are you okay? And then after that, it's like, they start to laughing and snickering a little bit, so yeah, it's just when you by yourself, it's like, oh, I slipped and fell, and you might hurt your leg, your hip, your arm, or whatever, but you kind of just get up and shake it off.
Now, if you're in the shower, you butt naked now. I'm just saying, you butt naked. Like, you got skin just flapping everywhere now. I'm just saying.
But you by yourself, so it's just you, yourself, and I. You know what I mean? Like, so.
But what if you got to call somebody to help you up?
Well, thank goodness I haven't had to be able to do that yet. You know what I'm saying? Let me knock on some wood. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Your favorite member from New Edition?
I don't just have one. I actually got two. So, growing up, like Ronnie was my favorite. I don't know if because he was the tallest in the group, but he was my favorite growing up. But as you grow and mature, then when I started finding out more about Michael Bivins and what he did behind the scenes, he's such a brilliant businessman. So I would say those two are actually my favorite.
Everybody know Ronnie the dancer. He the light skinned dude. That's why a lot of people pick Ronnie. All right. Your favorite restaurant in Columbia?
Oh, there's actually so many good ones. I'm trying to think like the one the one I most recently went to is called Taza Kitchen. And it's off of Fourth Drive. Huh?
Oh, I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
It's like, well, it's in the same plaza as Publix. And I mean the food was so good, but there's so many like non-chain restaurants in Columbia that are so good. But yeah, their food was really, really good. I really enjoyed it there.
As far as you being in the music industry and stuff like that, who was your favorite music celebrity that you personally met?
I would say the person that I really enjoyed actually meeting and interviewing was 50 Cent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, I got to see a different side of 50. We kind of just know him, kind of the brash rapper and, killing different people's careers or whatever the case may be. But I really, really took the time to do a lot of research on 50. And funny guy, has a very, very sense of humor. And I think he's been able to display that, as time went on. But the interesting thing that I found out about 50 Cent is that his charitable efforts. And what was really interesting is there is an actress by the name of Bette Midler. Some people know her, some people don't. But her and 50 Cent are actually from the same area in Queens. And I don't know how they teamed up together, but they actually teamed up together to create a garden in the area that they grew up in. And I just thought that that was just so amazing. Like, it's like, okay, this woman that's probably old enough to be his mother, you know what I'm saying? And him, first of all, how did they even meet? And then they decided to come together to actually create a garden where they're both from. So I thought that was really dope. And he was like, hey, you know that? So he gave me a compliment. It's like, you gave me a really good interview. I was like, thank you. So yeah, 50 was really cool. And tall, very tall in person.
I put 50 in the mind frame to me of Diddy, Mayweather, Kobe. Like people like you didn't like when they were young, but as they got older and matured, you're like, you know what? That's a pretty cool person.
Yeah, he was super, super cool. Super cool.
All right, so I got a question from the comment section, which is a dope question to add to our first call. So, what is your favorite struggle meal?
Struggle meal. I would probably say like during the holidays. And what I mean by that is like Thanksgiving or either Christmas. You know what I mean? It's just like when you're with the family and it's just, food on top of food on top of food, and then desserts on top of desserts on top of desserts. And it's just like during the holidays, I pack on the pounds because I'm just like, I want to enjoy myself. I want to eat. But it's just like, yeah, those, I would say holiday meals.
So my brother's favorite question is if you can have any superpower, what would it be?
To read people's minds. You know what I mean? I would love, love, love to be able to know what people are thinking, good, bad, or indifferent. So yeah, that would be my superpower.
I think you're the second or third person said it. I asked a coworker that, and they said that, and I told them, I said, yeah, but the mind is so strong. Like if you can't handle that, most people go crazy inside their own mind. So if you can understand what other people are thinking, like that would make somebody go crazy.
Yeah, you would have to, what I'm saying, soak in the information and the knowledge and just try to balance it out the best way you know how. But it could give you the edge too. So, this all depends on how you use the superpower.
All right. Off question. How would you use a superpower?
You said, how would I use it?
Yeah, how would you use that superpower?
I mean, I think strategically, I would use it, whether it was professional or personal. The thing about it is that a lot of times, let's just talk about the personal side. So a lot of times, with men, sometimes you guys don't necessarily always communicate or express yourselves all the time. So that could be not used against you, but to strengthen the relationship. If I know what you're thinking and you don't express it to me, at least I could try to alter and adjust to be the better woman for you, right? Professionally, if you know what your client is thinking or competition or whatever the case may be, I feel like you could strategize and you could use that as leverage to catapult your business or your brand to that next level. So that's how I would see it. Never for evil, only for good.
For now, to somebody make you mad. Everybody got that
No.
one thing that's gonna piss them off.
I do a lot of praying. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of praying. You got to let go and let God.
Yeah. Who was your favorite person to see live in concert?
Man, you're asking me questions. I'm just like, I've seen so many. So let me think for a moment because it's more than one.
Yeah.
Okay, the very first person that comes to mind is Bruno Mars. Amazing show. Him and his band, like literally from the time that they started to the time that they ended. Just energy was like 10 plus, and he sounded really, really good. I was just impressed. There's certain people that you just want to see. And I became like a super fan after seeing him perform. Like, I was like, okay, Bruno Mars is cool, whatever. But then to see him perform live, it definitely, another level. I would say the next person, I see somebody put a comment, Prince. Yes, Prince was, super awesome. But another person, there's certain people sometimes I want to see where I may not necessarily be like a super fan of their music, but I just want to see them in concert. But another person I was really impressed by was Mariah Carey. She's not necessarily, the dancer on stage like that. But when I say that that woman can sing and all of those high notes and octaves that you hear that was like pre-recorded, to hear her live in person and hear her, you know what I'm saying? Like she can hit it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she sounded just like the recording. And what was interesting to see too is just how much love like her fans gave her and how much she loved her fans and gave that back. And there was like people that came with posters and she would collect all the posters and she read some of them. And it was a really good experience to see her as well. But there's so many.
I was shocked you said Mariah because I personally have never heard anybody say anything about Mariah as far as when it comes to live.
Well, probably just because they've never actually been to a show. And again, like I said, I'm not necessarily, a like super fan of hers. I can respect her talent, but there's certain people like, you know what? I just want to go see them just to see. And so she was one of those ones that I just wanted to go just to see. You know what I mean? And I was impressed. I was impressed.
All right, I think this is question number 9. I think what my brother's favorite question: what car got you in the most trouble growing up, or
What
ever?
car?
Yeah,
Huh?
what car got you in the most trouble?
You mean like CAR?
CAR. What car got you in the most trouble?
No cars got me in trouble. I mean, I've just got in them and drove like,
No,
like, huh?
like are then when you're young, let's say you're young and and your dad had an old car that you used to sneak out and drive, or you know whatever car you just had fun in or whatever.
Okay, so I probably had some of the coolest parents on the planet, to be honest. And you know what I'm saying? Like my mother and father talked to me just as if I was an adult and they would just lay everything on the line. So really, to be honest with you, like I didn't want to do anything bad because I know how good I had it. Like I had it better than all of my friends. I could stay out the latest. Everybody wanted to spend the night over my house or whatever. So I didn't really get in any trouble as far as like cars or anything like that. I mean, I have favorite cars that I like, you know what I mean?
Okay,
But
let's go to
yeah,
that one.
so,
Let's
huh?
go with that one then. Let's go with
Let's
that
go
one.
with
Your
that
favorite car.
one. Okay,
Yeah.
so I just literally saw the new G-Wagon, Mercedes G-Wagon, and I was like, wow, I want one. And I saw I don't know what the model is, but it's like the electric version. It's an SUV of the Mercedes. And literally the whole dashboard is interactive from the driver's side to the passenger side. And I'm like, we got to just make sure we stay up on technology because it is not going anywhere. So we need to embrace it and learn it. But those are probably like the two that I saw. I was like, but they cost more than houses. So, but
They
yeah.
do. Especially those G wagons. Those G
Oh
wagons be
man, the
pricey.
new
All right.
ones, the new ones.
All right. My last question. One of my brother's questions. Dead or alive, 2 people you would like to have a conversation with.
Mm, dead or alive? Okay. Dead. I probably would say actually Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Um, the other person, Malcolm X.
Okay. You're the second person to pick Malcolm X. Why them two?
Michael Jackson, just because, I think that people, what I'm saying, they loved his talent and they loved, what I'm saying, the entertainer. But it's like, there was also a genius about him as well. You know what I mean? And also a businessman and certain things that he did. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was amazing during his career where he, just as an example, like he teamed up with Paul McCartney and they did a whole bunch of songs, but you know what I'm saying? Little did Paul McCartney know that Michael Jackson done purchased the whole catalog, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole Beatles catalog, like, so it was just like, why did you do that, Mike? You know what I mean? It's just certain things that he did strategically within his career that I would, what I'm saying, love to know if he would opened up about it. So yeah, so I would say that Malcolm X, just his transition from deciding to, you know what I'm saying, be the guy that was, you know, the out there in the streets to becoming a Muslim? And what was the turning point in his life where it was just like, you know what, this is the way that I want to go. I not only want to change to be a better person, but I want to show my people, you know what I'm saying, a different type of path. So I just, you know what I'm saying? There's just certain people where it's just like, what is going on up here? Like, why? So,
Okay. I
mm-hmm.
appreciate it. That was first call. That was just our little icebreaker to get to know you.
Okay.
Um, so we're gonna do a little hot take real quick.
All right.
Um, before we get into who you are, how do you feel about the whole Beyonce thing about the tickets and the price of the tickets? What's your opinion on that situation?
So there's going to be certain artists that they look at their artistry and everything that they're bringing to the table on a certain level. And so if Taylor Swift can do it, why can't Beyonce do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like Beyonce is not just an urban artist. Like she is, you know, pop, superstar, royalty, so on and so forth. So of course, people are going to expect a certain type of show from Beyonce, and that costs money. You know, I've been able to see stuff that goes on behind the scenes and to actually see different budgets and how much it costs. You know what I mean? And you got to figure like she's going to have a lot of moving parts to her show. And for as long as she's been performing, every time she goes on tour, they have to raise the bar. It has to get better. It has to be bigger. So, you know, that cost is going to be pushed to the consumer. Now, the situation is, of course, Beyonce's fan base is going to be a little bit more urban. And of course, you know, I mean, certain people's pockets are just not where, like, you want to see this grand show from Beyonce, but there's a cost to that as well. And so I know some people are not, you know, prepared. And then it's just like, of course, with the state of the world and the economics where we're at, you know, where people are talking about, you know, a head of lettuce is $7. You know what I'm saying? Eggs is, you know, almost $10. Like everything just costs more. So you have to understand and realize, like, um, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, my thing is that either you're gonna go, you're not gonna go. You can afford to go, you can't afford to go. Like, she's not necessarily thinking, okay, I need to keep it cheap for my fans, but she does that. She's not going to give you what you're expecting from Beyonce. So it's kind of just a give take situation with that. So you just have to see where your priorities lie. If you can afford to go, then you can afford to go. If you can't afford to go, and you know, even nosebleed seats, then you might have to just sit this one out. I'm sure she's probably got, you know, maybe 2 or 3 more tours in her. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, you know, Janet Jackson's tickets are high. I mean, like, we can just go down the line.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that's just because the urban slash black community that we question that when, like you said, Taylor Swift, her fans aren't questioning it because she's selling a packed house?
Well, I mean, you got to understand too, like, so there's going to be segments of the urban population that are doing extremely well financially. Doesn't even matter. Then you're going to have, you know, a segment of the population, urban population, where they're, you know, for lack of a better term, they're, you know, blue collar workers, you know what I mean? Like making minimum wage, you know, maybe just a few dollars more. And it's like, yo, they just can't afford it. So the people that can't afford it are going to be the ones that complain. Um, so you just have to alter in, you know, I mean, it's totally up to you and where your priorities lie. And when it comes to entertainment and when you want to have fun, how much money you want to spend. So just know, you want that top notch quality from Beyonce. She's charging $5,000 or more for floor seats. If you feel like it's worth it, then you feel like it's worth it. Some people are into not necessarily material items like buying purses and belts and shoes or whatever the case may be. What, you know, when it comes to designers, some people are into experiences. because they may not be able to experience that again. So to each his own.
I think that's going to be it's going to be like a Netflix special in like a year. Like all the people that didn't go to the show, like you said, she's probably going to make it big and grand. And everybody going to be watching. Shut up, baby.
Just like she did with Coachella.
Yeah.
Just like she did with Coachella. And, like she has to keep raising the bar. So, you saw her at Coachella, she performed for the Super Bowl. So, what I'm saying? Like you're expecting those things, but what people are not understanding is, how many people you got to pay? And I mean, not just no little bit of coins either. So,
All right. Well, that was a good conversation. So let's get into who Neek is and how she got started.
Okay. So I'm originally from New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl. I used to go visit my cousins like during the summer, and they lived in Atlanta. And so I told my mom and dad, I was like, Mom, Dad, I want to go to school in the A. My mom is originally from Savannah, Georgia. So, she was kind of excited about that. My dad, not so much. But they started warming up to the idea. And so, my dad really wanted me to go to an HBCU. So, we kind of explored that, looked at that. But when they saw the cost of it, like Clark Atlanta or Spelman, it was like, you got some other choices. So, and doing my research, because I wasn't from Georgia, I found a school called West Georgia College. And I decided that I wanted to get into mass communications and journalism. So they had a good program there, but I didn't realize that West Georgia College, which is in Carrollton, Georgia. So Carrollton, Georgia is probably the same distance. Carrollton to Atlanta is like from Orangeburg to Columbia.
Okay, ain't far.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like there was, there's no, bus system or nothing like that. Literally is like Orangeburg to Columbia. So, I'm thinking, just being young and naive, like, oh, it's only like an hour away from Atlanta. I can hop on the bus or catch a train or, whatever. Because, I'm from Jersey. Yeah. So mass transit is plentiful, but yeah, I had to soon realize that just was not the case. So what I did is I transferred from West Georgia College to a junior college by the name of Atlanta Metropolitan College. I went on and got my associates there, and then I transferred from there to Georgia State University, and that's where I finished up. So my major was mass communications with radio, television, and newspaper print, and then my minor was music industry at at Georgia State University. I worked at the college radio campus. They had a radio station on campus at Georgia State, actually still on to this day. It's called WRAS 88.5. I had the pleasure of working with a couple of gentlemen that, allowed me to come in and help with the hip hop show. So that was, like major and groundbreaking for me, because that station is one of the few college radio stations that's less than 5. That's 100,000 watts. So when we would come on Sunday nights, people could hear us all throughout the state of Georgia. They could hear us in Alabama, and they could hear us like in the panhandle of Florida. And, we got a chance to meet and interview a little bit of everybody. I was going to Georgia State in the late 90s and early 2000s. And it was just a great experience. And I was just fortunate, and I was blessed that while I was a senior at Georgia State, someone had contacted me from Hot 90s. At the time, it was Hot 97.5. Now it's Hot 107.9 in Atlanta. And they said, hey, we got some, actually it was Shaka Zulu. And for those that may not be familiar, Shaka Zulu, actually, he was started out in radio as an on-air personality, and then he became the manager for Ludacris. And now he's like the urban director at Spotify, but he also managed, God, what's his name? Nick. I can't think of his name right now. It was another rapper. But anyway, so I went on and I applied, and I was doing overnights from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Which is technically like Sunday night, Monday morning. Sunday morning and Monday morning. So I did that for about a year and a half, and I was still going to Georgia State. I had an 8 o'clock class, so I would get off in the morning, take a shower real quick, and go to my 8 o'clock class. And I did that for about a year and a half. And then I, just decided like, okay, do I want to try to stay here and see if there's going to be any primetime positions that open up and I can move up, or do I want to go ahead and just go to a totally different radio station? And I just noticed that the people that were in the prime time slots, they wasn't going anywhere. They was getting good ratings. They was going to stay right where they were. So there was an opportunity that came up in Macon, Georgia, to do afternoon drive from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm going from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And so I went on and did that. I still lived in Atlanta, so that commuting back and forth an hour and a half definitely took its toll on me. But I did that for almost 2 years. And then what happened was Harold Banks, that used to work at Hot in Columbia, had called me and told me that there was a young lady that was doing middays by the name of Princess Ivory. And actually, I worked with Ivory in Atlanta before she had moved on. And he was like, hey, there's a midday position open in Columbia. Are you interested? And I was like, I am, because I didn't want to stay in Macon, Georgia forever either. And so, the rest is history. I was able to come in and, do middays at Hot. Then I was able to be the music director, then assistant program director, and help out with the mix show and stuff like that. And then when I actually made that transition, I did afternoons for a while, and then went back to middays because I needed to do more stuff in the office, and I needed to get off early. I supposed to get off at 6 p.m. and then work until like 10 at night, or something like that. So yeah.
So how
That's
do
the
you? So the music scene when you was there in Atlanta in them early stages compared to the music scene now. I understand you're not in Atlanta to fully vibe with it, but what do you see the difference in the music scene?
What was interesting is that Atlanta definitely, had its own vibe in what I would say like cliques and crews. But the one thing that I respected, even though people kind of had their own separate thing going on, if somebody from the outside that was trying to come in, like, I'm saying, they would all join forces, like, like the Transformers. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, oh, you trying to come in our city, you trying to do this, you trying to do that, like, nah. So, you might have had like, Little John and like his crew over here, and then you might have like Organized Noise with Goody Mob and Outkast, and so they had their crew, and then you had like Red Zone and their crew, Dallas Austin and his crew, Jermaine Dupri and their crew. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a lot of different, talented people that were making music, great music in their own right. But if somebody from the outside was trying to come in, oh yeah, them dudes was like, you had to be grandfathered into the Atlanta music scene. And that's actually, it still kind of holds true today. There's a lot of people that move and continue to move to Atlanta to do music. But if you kind of are not cool with what I call like the forefathers there, it's going to be a tough road for you to kind of break in Atlanta and really be respected. So that's how I look at it. And it still kind of holds true for this day. With each generation, they have their own sound, and like, it's okay. A lot of people want to take and down them, and like, oh, that, what are they talking about? That's mumble rap and this, that, and the third. But I'm just like, you got to understand and just embrace and respect the diversity in hip hop. So that's how I kind of, that's how I look at it.
That's like I always tell people, I felt like that's when music changed as far as shifting from up north to down south. Because I that's how I felt it. I felt like when you look at T.I. video, his I'm Serious video, and you start seeing all these Shorty Low and all these other old rappers, like, damn, I didn't know they was kicking it. And you see us have all these other people, and Ludacris have all these people, and Jeezy, like, that's when I felt like, that's why I felt like the South took over, because what you just said, like, everybody united. And that's when I felt like New York was, they felt like they was high and mighty and they could do it by themselves. So you had individual cliques in New York, but as far as that down south, it just felt like Atlanta just formed together. And then, you see Florida do it, and then you start seeing people from New York mess with people in Florida, and then you see Houston do it, and New York just always had so much pride that they wanted to do it alone.
Yeah, well, because that's the birth of hip hop. We're in the 50th anniversary of hip hop, this year. And so, of course, a lot of people, when they feel like they have created something or they started something, they're going to have a certain type of pride that, goes along with that. And so it's like if you're not creating exactly what they think you should be creating, then they're going to feel some type of way. And even with me from being up north and growing up north, but what I'm saying, having an infinity and appreciation for diversity, because it's like, yo, look at what y'all birthed. You know what I'm saying? Look at what Cool Herc birthed. And what I'm saying, basically, this is just different generations of what you actually birthed. Now, some people respect it, some people don't, but I'll never forget, actually, we had the pleasure to interview Africa Bambaataa when I was doing college radio. He was in Atlanta for something, and they brought him by the college radio station, and he said, "Look." He said, I know people are going to say and they're going to feel how they want to feel. But he was like, look, all of it is hip hop. People can have their different interpretation and it's okay. He said, yes, you can have your opinion and your point of view. And of course, I'm paraphrasing
Yeah.
when I say this, but he's like, everybody should still respect that it's, I'm saying, it's hip hop. It's just different forms of it. And, like, yo, he's one of the forefathers. So, if he say it, then it's solid.
Yeah. So when you were down there, who was a young person that you saw that you said, damn, I think they're going to be a star. I think they got it before they really made it?
Ludacris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, the funny thing is, like, me and him were actually going to Georgia State at the same time. We weren't in classes together. And then, he was already working at the radio station when I started, but he was, in school as well. And just, Chris's tenacity and, him wanting, like, yo, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be a rapper. And he looked at radio as an avenue to, take him to that next level. And I'll never forget, even, at the station where he kept telling Shaka Zulu, like, look, you're going to be my manager. And stuff like that. And what was really interesting is that even though people knew him on the radio as Chris Lover Lover, what I'm saying, it still wasn't, like coming together that his rap name was Ludacris. And when I say that, the top producers in Atlanta, like, yeah, they knew who he was, but they really wasn't really rocking with him like that. And it was interesting because Timberland, he had his project with, it was Timberland and Magoo. And so, Chris would always take that opportunity whenever he had anybody in the industry, like, hey, my name is Chris Lover Lover, but my rap name is Ludacris, and, I'm a rapper. So Timberland was like, oh, okay. So you know what? I'm going to throw you this beat. Let me see what you do with it, right? And that beat was Fat Rabbit. And it was just interesting to see that.
I love
and
that.
then and then after that, it's like everybody in Atlanta, like, what I'm saying, like the producers seemed like that's when they wanted to come. So it took somebody from the outside to, what I'm saying, show his value and his worth, where everybody kind of started rocking with him. So that was really interesting to me. But Chris was just determined. He was going to be a rapper.
So who do you think came in the game around that time that might have been just a little too cocky in your opinion? In your opinion,
are you talking about out of Atlanta, or you're just talking about just rappers, period, or out of Atlanta?
Out of Atlanta that came through your studio or your radio station. Just
I'm gonna be honest with you, like probably the most arrogant people was not really from Atlanta. Everybody was kind of that I came across was kind of cool and down to earth. There was this group, when I was in college, and I don't even think they're around anymore, to be honest with you. No, I don't know. But it was a group by the name of Blase Blase. And these guys were they was just so arrogant and just over the top. They act like they didn't want to be there. They act like they didn't want to talk to us. But then as soon as we turn on the microphone, it's like, oh, yo, what's up? And I'm one of those ones where it's like, wait a minute. And I said it on the air, like, dude, you ain't even want to hardly talk to us. So now the microphone on and we live. You want to talk now? You know what I mean? So, yeah, yeah, they were interesting. You know, just certain people are imprinted in your mind like that. But nobody from Atlanta that I came across was really like that.
That's kind of understandable. So let's go with your transition into Columbia. Like, what was different about coming to Columbia from what you left, as far as the radio station scene and as far as the music scene as totality?
Um, let's see. Of course, just Columbia as a city, you know, being that I worked in Macon, so that was actually kind of like a good transition for me. So not even
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying, like leaving from Atlanta coming to Columbia, it wasn't like a culture shock. So it was like
yeah,
Columbia is like double the size of Macon. So it was like I kind of was able to make that transition like, okay, well, look, Columbia ain't as small as Macon. You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So actually, you know, so like Columbia had a lot more going on, as opposed to when I was working in Macon, Georgia. Definitely, you know, Macon wasn't a bad experience. You know, it was a great experience and a foundation in working with the gentleman that owned the radio station there at Mike Roberts. But so I would more so say my transition from Macon to here. I actually, it was a pretty smooth transition, to be honest with you, because like I said, Columbia had a lot more going on. You know, the club scene, the nightlife. As far as artists were concerned, you know, people were just, they were on their grind trying to do what they wanted to do and try to take it to that next level. And it was just, it was kind of surprising to me because even in Macon, like, you know, a lot of people don't know that, you know, Jeezy spent uh, quite a bit of time in Macon. And so actually his name used to be Hollywood. So he actually used to come to our station in Macon. And you know, him and the guy that came on from 6 to 10 was really tight at the time. The guy's name is Tallis. And so, you know, like we knew him, like, you know what I'm saying? But we would call him Hollywood. He wasn't known as Jeezy at the time. But here in Columbia, what I found was that there was a lot of people that they didn't want to know the business side of music. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of people just wanted to go to the studio, they recorded their music, and then they wanted to come instantly to the radio station and get it played. And it's just like, nah, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There is a process that you have to go through. And, you know, even I went through a period at being a music director where it was like, you know, oh, you hating, why you don't want to play my music, and you know, this, that, and the third. And it's like, first of all, I don't know you to hate you, number one. Number two, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's just rules to it. Either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. It's just that simple. It's a process. You know what I'm saying? We can't just be just putting people on the air at random. Thirdly, what some people didn't know is that, you know, and this was years ago, there was a conflict between an artist and a producer. And what happened was the artist did not pay the producer for the beat. So we had an entertainment lawyer send us a letter to the radio station for a cease and desist to immediately stop playing that song. And if we didn't, we were going to be included in the lawsuit.
Wow.
So from that point forward, you know, upper management made the decision like, look, we're not playing nothing that is not copywritten, that's not registered properly, you know, so on and so forth. So that was, you know, a teaching moment for all of us, because I think at the time the station and even like the mixed DJs and stuff like that, they, you know, they had the freedom kind of just, you know, kind of play whatever as long as the song was like mixed and mastered, where, you know,
Yeah.
it sounded okay. But nobody was really kind of checking the business aspect of it and making sure that it was good. But when you get, you know, a letter saying that you're going to be in this lawsuit,
Yeah.
you gotta change it up. So it was like, no, it's not anything personal. You know, you got to understand that we have to protect ourselves. And then with independent artists also taking care of the business, a lot of people don't realize that every song that we play on the air, we pay for that. Every song, it doesn't matter if it's new or old. You know, it could be 10, 15 years old, or even older than that. It's 7 cents per spin. So if you take and get your business together and you imagine like you're not just getting played on our station, but you're getting played on stations all across the United States, like that's going to add up per quarter to be a nice little check.
Yeah.
So it's in your personal interest to make sure that the business is taken care of.
Yeah. I was asked in the comment section, um, So your time from Atlanta to here, did you see what the BMF era was doing as far as taking over Georgia and moving through the South?
Well, I was in Macon at the time, but again, I was still living in Atlanta. And yo, them dudes, that was a whole nother level. That was a whole nother level of street money. It was a
Yeah.
whole nother level of, flashiness. Um, they were buying billboards around town, every time they came in the club, you know what I'm saying? Like it was literally like, parting the Red Sea, you know what I'm saying? Like they was just like, they was royalty.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of money, a lot of money. So I never had the pleasure of actually meeting any of those guys, but just from somebody from the outside looking in, they definitely made a splash in a
Like I
major
like
amount of.
yeah, I like to say like in the early 2000s, like Columbia had a club, a strip club, a bar. It's just like we had so much, and there was so much money coming through Columbia. It just felt like when Jeezy came out, it was like there was little you can hear little sayings of people saying BMF they're running drugs through Columbia, but it was just like that whole wave of music of movement. Like it felt like we was little Atlanta. Like it's almost like we forgot about Augusta. Like we little Atlanta because it just seemed like that cash flow just came through, and everybody in the city had money. Everybody was
Well,
coming out with a music group and a studio was on every corner. We just felt like the little brother to Atlanta at that time, early 2000s.
Well, what's interesting, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what somebody was telling me is that from Miami to Orangeburg to New York. So Orangeburg is the halfway point from Miami well, I'm sorry, Orangeburg is a halfway point to New York, basically. And so from what I understand is that there was a lot of exchanging, I'm saying, going on in Orangeburg because it was the halfway point between New York and Miami. So I
Yeah,
could definitely see, yes, there was money flowing through Columbia, I'm saying, by way of Orangeburg because it was the halfway point.
the halfway point. Hey, we the little brother. So another question came. So how'd you feel about the whole liquid scene over there in front of Fort Jackson? Forest Drive, across from Walmart, in front of Fort
Oh,
Jackson.
you're talking about well, first you had what was that was the Palace, and
The
then
Palace. Liquids was next
and
door, the
then
strip club next door.
yeah, and what was that called again? It
Liquids.
was Liquids. Okay, so I couldn't remember the name of it. Like, so first and foremost, shout out to Earl Cooper because he was the original owner of the Palace, and actually, he is the very first club owner that hired me to come and host.
Mm.
And I thought it was just so interesting that you had like that regular club and then you had the strip club next door. And so even when, what I'm saying, the Palace was shut down, like, I'm saying, people would just walk right
Walk
on over
right
to
on over.
Liquid. And just
Yeah.
me going to school in Atlanta and working in Atlanta for a while and living there, strip club, it wasn't really a big deal. Now mind you, from up north, what I'm saying, like you had like go-go clubs and you had strip clubs, but girls was never like full on butt naked.
But bucket naked.
Man, when you go to Atlanta, it was like you know what I mean? And it was just like, it was just part of the culture, and girls hung out in strip clubs too. And it wasn't, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like girls that were homosexual or gay. It was just like, yo, that's where you hang out. And some of the girls were like, you need to hang out in the strip club if you want to meet the ballers, it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. But yeah, so what I'm saying, so coming to Columbia, it was just a a lesser version of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was still cool. And, people would just go and hang out. And it was so funny because I know when I came here, people was like, hey, strip clubs, you got to go to Mr. Lucky's and get their chicken wing. You know what I'm
I know.
saying?
I think I saw you one time in Lucky's. Obviously, it was a long time. I think I saw. I think I could swear I heard your voice on the mic. I don't know. I think you were in there one night. But Lucky's is just like a stable. Like people that know about Columbia know about Mr. Lucky's. Like Mr. Lucky's was just one of
Yeah,
those
they used to
landmarks.
advertise with us, actually. Mr. Lucky's used to advertise with us. And
Yeah,
what's the other old popular strip club that was in Columbia?
we're at
Off of Two Notch Road.
54. 54
Mm-mm.
is the big one. The locker
I
room.
can't I can't remember. I know
Oh,
Big G was spinning there.
it
Those
must be.
little
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking. Is like I can't think of
I
it.
can't think of the name of it right now, but
Yeah,
yeah, no. So everybody was talking about like that's where you need to go to get chicken wings, but people talked about Mr. Lucky's as well. But Mr. Lucky's was cool, like you know what I mean. Like it's a little hole in the wall, but people would come and have a good time, and
yeah,
we did our thing. I'm one of those ones that I don't judge. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the girls that I met that actually worked and danced there was super cool. They was just look, trying to provide for their family, just providing for themselves, and they just did it a different way, and it's all
yeah.
good.
That's like crazy because we had Venom on here a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, and we were just talking. She was like, she thinks somebody was trying to do like a little documentary on the strip club scene back then.
Mhm.
And me and my brother was like, that would be kind of dope. Like some people might not like it, but that era was monumental in Colombia. Like everybody from the era like remembers that distinctly. Like, man, Colombia was so live. Like that would be cool to hear them stories from back then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for us, the music kind of ran through the strip clubs back then. Because you had
Yeah.
people paying it, hit $20, play my song for 2 songs, or here's $50. Let me get 3 songs in. So that's kind of how like people get heard in Colombia. Also, they were going
Look,
through
I
the
mean,
DJ.
the strip clubs was a great way to take and break music
Yeah,
because like look, so yeah, you go ahead and get a dancer, like you said, $20. Look, dance on my song, and so you got the guys in the club. They're gonna be mesmerized by what I'm saying, the chick with the banging body, but you're hearing this
yeah.
song subliminally in the background, like yeah, no question.
And they get you a good audience because you got people from everywhere. Like nobody
Hmm.
knows where everybody's from, especially liquors.
True.
Liquors, that's Fort Jackson, so you got soldiers from across the world coming. So that's a good way.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get your little vibe on to see who in there bobbing their head. I heard OT Genesis say that one time. He not in a rush to put out an album, but when he go to the club, that's like how he does his research. Like he plays the songs and
Mhm.
just listen to how people bop, and if they bopping the way he want, he know he can rock with it. If they not,
Right.
he just feel like he know when to switch it up. I think that's smart.
Yeah, that's research.
Yeah, that's true research. Like if you paying like not if he say he in the club, he just get drunk all the time. Like if he really paying attention to that, then I'm with you. Like that's cheap research. He probably getting in free.
And
Other
for
than
some people, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of those
yeah,
dancers, man, they're amazing what the money they can get out of some guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm
uh,
like, girl, teach me the ways.
that,
But I,
that,
like working in those strip clubs, I had a newfound respect for, the ladies that were working in there. And then I even attempted to take a pole dancing class one time. And man, the arm strength to try to climb up the pole. Oh
yeah.
no. I was like, God, I'm so weak. I can't even, you know what I mean? And the girl was trying to flip me upside down on the pole, and my stomach was hurting for a week. You
That's
know what
that
I'm saying?
core.
Trying to wrap my body
That's
around the
that core work.
pole. So, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I respect those girls. Some of those girls I can do, oh man, do the
Hey,
to the spins and the twirls and the tricks, and yeah, I definitely
true
respect.
true athletes. You went to me and my partners went to Magic City one night, and it was this little girl. She took another girl and flipped her upside down and walked around the club with her. And then another one did. When everybody's talking about that surfboard, like she got on the pole and she went like this, and the other girl stood on top of her, and they
Yeah,
just slid down the pole. And I'm just like,
you was mesmerized.
like,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was more mesmerized from the strength. So for you to lay flat and slide down the pole while somebody stand on top of you, like that's
Oh
athletic.
yeah. Magic City was on a whole nother level. I know
Yeah,
that's the first time I saw the helicopter. Like there was two girls on the pole and they was spinning opposite directions like propellers on a helicopter. And I was
yeah.
just like, so yeah.
But I've met a lot of people from Atlanta that gave respect to the Columbia strip clubs. They they mentioned the music for one. because you slide the DJ $20 to play the track. They were saying that y'all actually play the track here. They said the girls are just as aggressive, just as personal as it, because Atlanta was big, so a lot of girls can just sit back. They don't have to go get that dollar.
Mm-hmm.
For here to go get the dollar, working skills of the girls was crazy. But they
Mm.
commended us on that part as far as the music scene and getting our music to the DJ to be heard. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, the strippers. Our strippers are a lot more aggressive than the ones in Atlanta. So, who was your favorite DJ coming in? So you came in. What DJ did you lean on the most? Like, all right, that's gonna be my DJ at all my events or whatever.
You talking about in Colombia or when I was in
In
Atlanta?
Colombia. In Colombia.
In Colombia? I
Yeah.
mean, I would probably have to say like all the guys that worked at the radio station, really, to be honest with you, that worked at Hot 1039. Because everybody was just like, they were talented in their own right. I'm one of those
Yeah.
ones where like I don't like DJs that just, slam records. You know what I mean? Like it is an art to DJing. And you need to know the beats per minute in a song to be able to blend, one song to the next song to the next song. I used to DJ, but it's just I don't have a passion for it anymore. But so at the time when I first came to the station, you had Big Sexy was working there. Big
Yeah.
G was working there. DJ Flavor came on board. Frosty was working for the station. Am I missing somebody? I think that was about it. DJ Fatboy was actually an intern at the station, and then he came on as a DJ. And then, some years later, B Lord came on after that. Then, some years later, then after
Yeah.
that, Puff came on. Then not too long, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, we had, well, this was before the pandemic. So Gooch and then Pretty Boy Mel came on. So, honestly, I kind of just keep it in my work family. And if they, of course, if those guys are not available, then there's some other DJs. Like there are some, really good DJs that I've been able to work with here in Columbia, even outside of the radio station as well. So
Somebody made a comment one time. We were having a conversation. They were saying around here in South Carolina, probably specifically Columbia, because we were talking to somebody else from Columbia. The DJs are just as known as the rappers or the singers on the music. Like the DJs are held to a high standard here. Do you believe that? As far as
um,
being known.
I mean, you got to. That's your
Yeah.
brand. You know what I mean? Like if you want to go and spin at a club, a lounge, a bar, you know what I mean? Like you got to put your brand out there and you got to be good at what you do. So yeah, I definitely can see that because I mean, how else are you going to eat? And then to take it a step further, if your brand is not really known like that, you can't ask for a certain price.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Fantasy Island. Thank you.
Yeah. That,
So yes,
Tito.
that's what it was. Fantasy Island. But so you have to continue to build on your brand and expand your brand so you can put more value on what it is you
Yeah.
do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So there's a difference between $150 DJ and a $1,500 DJ.
Yeah.
So
So who do you like in that instance, right? Let's say you got a club. Uh you are who you are, but you're not who you are. Like you're Neek, but let's just say don't nobody know you. Neek. Neek the personality. Do
mhm.
you spend do you pay the 150 or do you pay the 1,500?
It depends on who it is. And so and what I'll do is, I'm just gonna like give you an example with not necessarily saying anybody's name, but it's like, so you have somebody that spends on the campus of Benedict College. You know what I'm saying? Cool kid, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like does all the events, even the extracurricular activities at Benedict College. So, but they're still trying to get started and establish their brand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So they still don't have a lot of experience either. So yes, they're going to get paid that $150. But somebody that's been working at the radio station, you know what I'm saying, 5+ years, you know what I'm saying, 7 years, 10 years, or whatever the case may be, is going to have a little bit more experience, especially somebody that mixes on the air every day.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And has been not just all over the state of South Carolina, but let's just say, you know what I'm saying, throughout the Southeast, different, parts of the United States. They just have that experience. And they also know how to, so if you're doing a high school event, you got to keep it clean. But
yeah,
if you're at a club or doing a strip club, then hey, you can go all in and just play the raw versions and dirty versions of everything.
yeah,
So, you know what I'm saying? So, and depending on how long they've done it, you're paying for the experience, you're paying for the value, and then also they have a following that they're bringing to whatever
yeah.
event. So that's going to be that 1,500. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at a person's experience and their value and what they bring, and sometimes you got to pay for that.
I think you got to pay for it. We, I'm gonna tell the story. So me and Kryptonite and a couple of partners, we went to this is recent. We went to Restricted one night.
Okay.
Recent as far as within the last 6 months, and we're in there, and the DJ's mixing. He's playing his music. Nobody's dancing. We kind of early for Restricted,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't have the music EQ'd right.
Mm.
So the first thing I do is I just so happen to look at Kryptonite because he just got back from the bar. He just got this sick look on his face. I tell the story to a lot of people. He just got this sick look on his face, and I'm looking at him and I'm just trying to figure out what's wrong. And then I'm hearing it now. I'm hearing what he hearing now. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh. So more people come in and dude's just in a groove. Like he's just DJ. He's just putting on music. But he's putting on the music he wants to hear. Like so there's no transition into the next track. So Kryptonite looked like he just caught COVID or something. Like his whole body just shut down. His whole body
Oh
just
my
shut
goodness.
down. Like he was walking around. He was just like, oh, this guy's horrible. And hanging out with him is just like I understand what he sees now. Like at a younger age, I didn't understand that part in which he
Right.
gave me. Now it's just like, damn, and I'm saying, damn, people might pay anybody to be a DJ now. Like before, not that might have been me. And that's crazy. That's what I learned from watching somebody else. Like, yeah, you can't just have somebody here with a laptop and don't know how to mix.
I mean, you can, but the situation is you're not going to get the crowd that you want,
Yeah,
or either if they are, they're not going to stay. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you just got to pay for quality. But when you're a business owner, because we don't own the businesses either. The number one motto is to decrease overhead and increase profit. So a
yeah,
lot of times, they're gonna like you, and then you got people that are real hungry and they're real eager, and so they're gonna devalue what they do sometimes too, just so they can go ahead and get in the spot. So
yeah,
there's a lot of undercutting that may go on, and like, oh yeah, I'll do it for 100. So
yep,
you mean to tell me you going to DJ for almost 6 hours for $100?
yes, for $100. That shit don't even math. That math ain't mathing.
That exactly,
That math is not mathing.
exactly.
So on the tail end of this, I
Mhm.
do want to ask you. Like I said, I wanted to add something. I said I want to wait till I get on air. How do you feel about the South Carolina music scene? Because it's a conversation we have with everybody in the music industry that's from Columbia. We had this conversation with their guests. The same consensus is nobody networks. Nobody wants to help each other. Me and my brother, that's partly why this platform is constructed because we feel like we can network anybody. Nobody gonna twist our arm. Nobody gonna say something else saying don't mess with them or don't rock with them. I mean, we want to know the person that's on the other side is how real they are by just the conversation we had.
Mhm.
So the networking part, how do you feel about the networking part when it comes to Columbia, South Carolina?
So let me put it to you like this. For someone that has definitely been around for a while, someone who champions independent artists, like I had to fight, kick, scream just to even get the independent show that I have on Sunday for 1 hour. So, a lot of people will take a look at us at the radio station, but what I have to tell people constantly over and over and over again, that this is a multi-million-dollar corporation. And at the end of the day, nobody is obligated to believe in your dream.
Yup.
Okay. It's going to be up to you. Just like you
Yup.
have the free will choice to do stuff, it's going to be up to you, that you actually have to travel outside of Columbia to be able to network. Now, of course, the internet has, changed the
I don't
game
like
where
that.
you can reach out to people all over the United States, all over the world. But if you lack the skill set to even be able to articulate your sentences to express what it is that you want to do, who you are, and what you got going on, then networking, I'm gonna be honest with you, is pointless at that juncture. Because you can't even talk. You got to talk like you have some sense. You got to talk like you know what you're talking about, and you need to have confidence in yourself. There's been so many artists like, well, I'm trying to do. Nah, it ain't no trying. Either you gonna do it or you not gonna do it. What you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, tell me about your music. And some people can't even describe or tell me about their music. But that's not everybody.
That's not
That's
everybody.
not everybody. Shout out to the producers, because I'm telling you something. The producers from South Carolina is, what I'm saying, like they're popping on a whole nother level from, TNT. And I don't know if people are familiar with him or not. He's actually from Sumter,
Oh,
South
wow.
Carolina. And, TNT is probably does maybe about 70% of Rod Wave's music. And, the list just goes on and on and on.
That's
You
you said T and what?
His name is TNT.
What's his name?
TNT, like
Oh,
dynamite,
I know.
like T.
Yeah, I know a dude named Taj on the beat. I don't know if that's his.
Mhm.
He's from something. That's what I'm talking. That same person.
No. Well, they're different people. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? But yeah, you're talking about Taj. I think Taj Money. I think it is.
yeah, Taj
You know,
Money, Taj on the beat. He from something too. Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking of.
There's so many, from Jetson Made It to Nico, like, what I'm saying, like the producers. Super Mario had a track on Drake's album. Actually I think like the last two or three.
Oh wow.
So the producers are killing it.
Yeah,
So to be honest with you, the artists need to
yeah.
be tracking those dudes down and trying to network and talk to them. To be honest with you. But my thing is also, sometimes with people, their networking is their approach. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't come at me just any kind of way and like, you need to be playing my music. I don't need to be doing nothing but eating and sleeping and taking care of myself. That's what I need to be doing. So, sometimes some people have to watch their approach when it comes to networking.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, really, to be honest with you, you gotta have some good music. Everybody doesn't make good music. You know what I'm saying? A hit is a hit is a hit is a hit. And your life actually would be a lot simpler as an artist if you had a hit, if you had really, really good music. Your opinion and your family and your friends is not necessarily the opinion of the public. You know what I mean? When you can win the public over and you can really build a solid fan base, you know what I'm saying? Then you're going somewhere. So my thing is that, yes, networking is one aspect of it, but some people need to learn the art of being able to do that and do it properly. You know, and because I mean, there's been times where, like, I might be working at a club, or I might just be out with some friends, celebrating a birthday, just chilling or whatever. And so, we have people that want to have a full on conversation about their music. Look, I done had 3 drinks. I promise you, when you walk away,
Yeah,
I ain't
yeah,
remember your name. I'm
yeah,
not even gonna remember the name of your song. It's
yeah,
1:30 in the morning, my
yeah,
dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really need to holler at me when I'm at the
yeah.
station in front of my computer, in work mode. So I tell people, politely, and I have business cards. Look, I ain't gonna remember you. I promise you. I done had
Yeah.
you. I done had a few drinks. Here's my card. Get in contact with me during business hours. So, you know what I'm saying? There's an art to networking, and people just need to, kind of learn that too.
Yeah, I always say my little tagline is networking a superpower. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, everybody don't got it, and
Right.
then the people that got it, some people don't know how to use it. Um, I choose to use it clear cut but respectful. Like I told one person, I asked one person to come on the show, and it was just what they sent back was just kind of crazy. So I told them, man, I just appreciate you responding. I'll try again another time.
That
Like I
was
try
very
to,
diplomatic.
yeah, yeah, and it was somebody who's like on the up and coming. So basically, what I do is like I listen to our guests about who they feel should, yeah, so they might be good on y'all show, or who I come
Mm.
across through TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. If they got a nice story, and I ask them. So I asked somebody who was, I heard him. He had a couple videos online circulating. I didn't hear too much from him,
Hmm.
but he had a little buzz going behind him, and I just asked him to do the show. He sent me this outrageous offer, and I was just like, I hit him with the whole Fat Joe, today's price ain't tomorrow's price or whatever. Yesterday's
Right.
price. Like I was like, yeah. I said I understand that whatever Fat Joe said, I'll catch you later, because it was something absurd. Like he was like, I'll come there, do the show live, but I need 2 hotels, a bottle of liquor. I'm like, dude, it's a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is that people are going to take and put value on themselves
Yeah,
what they think that they're worth. Now what we think or the public think is something else. You understand what I'm saying? So, and people, man, sometimes a little bit down the line get a dose of reality,
yeah.
and they will be humbled, as far as that is concerned. So, I really appreciate you, and I'm sorry that your brother couldn't, come on. Shout out to him. And you just gotta remain humble. I appreciate you guys even thinking about, asking me to come on and be a part of your platform.
No, I need you to come back where we're both on, so you can get the full jokes that I got. See, the jokes control the
Oh.
conversations and all. When he here, yeah, like usually it's just like it's a whole vibe you have, but this dude over here with this dang on cricket internet or
Well, you're gonna have to get your brother some high-speed internet, sir.
man, I got my own high speed internet problems.
And you know what I'm saying? Like y'all gonna have to chip in and get,
Nah,
spend the extra $20 on some high-speed internet.
nah, he actually got his coming in on Monday, so
Okay.
it ain't nothing like that. But we make this work, and that was like I said, that was the thing. Like we do this to unite people in South Carolina, kind of through music scene. We don't care if it's business scene. Like we try to unite people. I don't want to have somebody come over here, come on the show, and be like, "Yeah, ain't nobody in South Carolina moving." And it's like you say that,
That's
but
far from the truth.
exactly that's basically what
And
I'm trying to get.
and then the thing about it, really, to be honest with you, like there's so many other facets to the entertainment industry in South Carolina. People have no idea. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the film and television industry in Charleston is popping.
Yes, yes,
Like I told you, like, what I'm saying, just because you're not hearing a whole lot from the artists, the producers from South Carolina are popping. You'll be amazed at how many actors and actresses are from Columbia that, what I'm saying, that you done seen in like, oh
yep,
yo, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a lot of people, like we on our sister station, the Big DM. So for Black History Month, they have this segment called South Carolina History Makers. And every year I'm so blown away at the different people that are from South Carolina in so many different industries, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
outside of entertainment, that are on the top of their game. Like there's a guy that was born in Columbia that was like, what I'm saying, like I think like second in command, like under Barack Obama at NASA. You
wow,
know what I'm saying? His name is Charles Bolden Jr. And it was just like, he's from Columbia. And he was like, you know what I'm saying, one of them dudes at NASA.
man,
Like,
I'm
there's so many
about to invite
people,
him.
like, huh?
I'm gonna invite
So,
him. I'm gonna find his link and invite him.
no, seriously, like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, there's so many, like, we can go down the list. And like I said, it's not all just in
Yeah.
entertainment. Like, there's a young lady that graduated from USC who is now like a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? That's like one of the
Oh wow.
hardest. Look, there's so many. Like, there's so many. So many. So many.
And I think that's my thing. Like, I I love it here. We were military kids, so we moved here like 93, 91. So we call
Mhm.
Columbia our home because we just bounced around before that. But it's so
Right.
much love that we see in the city. Granted, we're not in the music scene, but we just, you hanging out here, you hanging out, like we talking other, hanging out in Apple Valley, or you hanging out in West Hill, or you hanging out on Two Knots, hanging out on the river. Like, there's a lot of love out there, but when it comes to music itself, it's like that's where the division hits. Like, nah, you mess with that studio or that producer, and it's like they're not, like we were talking earlier about Atlanta, clumping together and just be like, all right, bro, you got a whole album of trap music. Let's get some melodic sounds by going with this producer. You need that to balance it
Well,
out, and I feel like they don't do that.
well, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm one of those ones where, so remember, they still had their own cliques and they still had their own crew. They only came together
Yeah,
when it was necessary to come together. Other than that, they wasn't rocking with each other. And to me, that's
yeah,
fine. But just still be respectful of what that
yeah,
person has going on over here, or this person, or what she has going on over there. We don't like, I ain't trying to work with everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it, you know what I'm saying, all the way 100, because my personality is not for everybody. The way that I move or the things that I do is not for everybody, but for people that are like-minded, and you know what I'm saying, and if we can come together and we can create opportunities for each other, that's what I'm all
yeah,
about. Like, don't let it be one-sided. It needs to be reciprocal. So if
yeah,
I can do something for you, you do something for me, and that's where the exchange comes in. That's when people really start working together. So you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, I'm not with trying to work with everybody. I don't want to work with everybody because everybody don't have great character. Everybody don't have integrity. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, you can't trust them. They're not honest. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
my thing is, like, let's stop trying to force relationships. Let's only work with the people that want to work with us. And then, you know what I'm saying, when we have unity like that, that's when we can go ahead and we can start climbing to another level. Work with the people that want to work with you. Ain't no way, if you feel like I'm a hater, you know what I'm saying, then there's nothing for us to talk about. You know what I'm saying? You ain't checking for me, I ain't checking for
Yeah,
you. But that still does not mean that we have to coexist in the city, and we can still be
yeah, we do.
respectful of each other. But you stay over here and I stay over there, and I'm going to work with the people that want to work with me, and we going to make some magic happen.
Well, we want to work with you because we are nominated. Hey, it's a blessing. We got nominated for 3 awards. So we got the Southern Plug. We got Southern Plug Award.
Yes. And
Yeah,
congratulations to that. And shout out to Southern Plug Magazine, because
yeah,
they definitely honored me as well. And like, again, I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful. And you know what I'm saying? And I just that man, God is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And I let people know in the heartbeat, like, look, Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior, and I ain't ashamed to say it to nobody.
yeah. We got the Southern Independent Music Awards also. Yeah,
Yeah,
Southern.
there's a few different award
Yeah.
shows that go on.
And,
Definitely.
th- and then we got the one that you got. I think you won from your bio. The Southern Entertainment one. I think it's in Tennessee, Nashville.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, we got nominated for that one too. So we got nominated for all three. We're going up against some big, yeah. We're going up against some big boys.
Look,
And
at
that,
the end of the day, it's nice to just even be
uh,
recognized. You didn't even know that, you had some people
uh,
looking for you, checking for you, and
yeah,
then you had to go through the voting process. So not, you know what I mean? And so you actually made the ballot.
yes, yes. Like
So
I feel.
congratulations.
Yeah, I feel, but I like it's one of those things. Like when I say networking, like that's one of the things. Like the one here, like we're up against Venom and her podcast. Like that's love. Like I don't even care about that one. But like the other two, like if we were to win or somebody do an interview, is like this is for like all of South Carolina. This is like for the cosign. This is for Neek. Like I'm the type of person I'll start shouting out names, not their name, but the people that actually gave us a chance that didn't have to. Like that's what I value. Uh, I value the individual person and their effort. Because sometimes people want to
Mm,
do good for you, but they can't. It might not be on their time frame.
that's
But they
true.
might say, bro, I can't help you, but this is what you do. You dial this number, or you text this person, and they're gonna get you straight. Like that means good, because if it wasn't for that, I couldn't get that number. So
That
that's why I
you
say, like,
yes.
and we on different journeys. Like Venom's on her podcast journey and her brownies journey. But if I need something, I'll just text her, be like, what about this? And she be like, that might work or it might not work. Like I respect that. Like
That's
if I
called
hit you,
relationships.
yeah.
You
And like,
understand what I'm saying? And that's important too. You know what I mean? Because even just because you network with somebody doesn't mean you have a relationship with them. So,
yes.
that's important and to have good relationships. You know what I mean? And not negative, not toxic,
Yeah.
like we're talking about good relationships. So, yes, that's important.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. Like if I send you an invite after the show, you probably still get text messages or private messages like, "Hey, how the show going?" Like, man, how you doing? It's been about 3 months since you've been on the show. How the show doing? Like, I try to do that. I try to build that up so people know
Mhm.
what me and my brother are doing is truly authentic. I don't want it to be like any other podcast. Like, it kind of feel kind of weird because he's not on here, so it's kind of yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, this is the vibe, and I would like for you to come back again when his internet is straight, so you can truly feel how we are. But
Okay.
for me to want to network with you, yes, I want to network with you and have you back on, because when you come back on the next time, it's not like this. It's usually a panel, so we'll have two or three other people, and we'll do an open discussion about anything that we feel.
Well, I am. Look, I'm 10 toes down. So you just let me
Yeah,
know, and hopefully, we'll work around. We'll figure out the schedule. Let's put it that way. So
yeah. I mean, we can do it on Wednesday. We'll find it on Wednesday. We did one. We did a fun one right before Christmas, so it was me, Venom with her podcast, a lady from Jersey with her podcast, but staying in New York, and a lady with a podcast from Atlanta. And I had a homeboy that has his own nonprofit, uh, 501c, and we did a show, and that show was outstanding. So basically, I did the show, started the show, but in the middle of the show, I let all of them ask one question as if they're the host, so people
okay.
viewing can see how their show goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, to me, it went by smooth, and it was dope. It was very dope.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's so
So
awesome.
yeah, so we got this thing that we do right before we get into the last call. I need you to tell me one song, regardless of genre, to get somebody through these next couple days.
Hmm. Let me think. Okay, so I'm just going to give you the first song that comes to mind because that's just on my mind. You said the song that get you, what I'm saying, get
You
you
might
through
get some.
would be Rihanna, "Lift Me Up."
That's that new one, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Do you have to listen to the lyrics of the song? It's like lift me up, what I'm saying, hold me down. Um, so it's just one of those songs where it's just like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like every now and then, sometimes we do have to depend on somebody to, we need that inspiration, we need that encouragement, we need that motivation, and you need that person to lift you up. So, even though it's kind of slow and it's melodic, but, lyrically, definitely it could, what I'm saying, fill in that void where you need to be lifted up.
all right. I got like two in my head. Um,
Okay.
both of them, I think I probably already stated on the previous episode, but it would have to be a growing old outcast, 13th floor. Um, Fat titties turn to teardrops, fat ass turn to slabs, the open wounds bitch turn to scabs. I just felt like we that's time. That's that's when you know you're getting something in life as far as time.
Mm.
the smooth skin is turned to wrinkle skin. Like all that means you've been on this earth for a while compared to others.
Hmm. Yeah.
Cherish this, because I just feel like, and it's because of social media and news. Like, I feel like people dying left and right, and
Tell me
it just
about it.
yeah. So we got to appreciate life. So I just feel like that growing old makes me appreciate life.
That's a good one.
Yeah, your man ain't always gonna have that 6 pack or whatever kind of stomach it is. That shit gonna start hanging and leaning and sagging. And your female is the same way.
Yeah.
You know, that tattoo she got on her lower back, that bitch about to fade. About to fade and get wrinkled. You
Yeah,
know.
because there, the people that keep those bodies super super tight. You know what I'm saying? At an older age,
Yeah.
that's very far few and in between. So, but yeah, that
And
that
then,
comes to where, that's loving outside of the exterior, but the
yeah.
interior. So
Yeah, my parents been married since my parents been married. Man, they been married since the 70s or whatever.
yeah,
They be having their spats, but in the end,
of course.
1 o'clock in the morning, if they both up, they sitting there watching the TV show on the couch or something. Like
Hmm.
that's that fat titties turn to teardrop, fat ass turn to flat. Like of all the physical attributes, everybody gonna lose them. Everybody gonna lose those physical attributes sooner or later. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's a
but so all right, click this first. So this is last call. So last call is whatever you want to say, your website, events you got coming up, whatever's on your mind. My brother said, you want to curse somebody out? Curse their ass
oh
out.
oh
What-
no.
whatever you want to say, we're gonna give you that time right now to say, man.
Okay, well, I will check and try to condense everything down really, really short. And so, Neek during the day, Neek at night. I'll come on Hot 1039 93.9 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that's what I do at the station on the air. And, behind the scenes, I also, I'm music director, assistant program director, and also do some work for the DM. So that's what I do. I also am a brand ambassador and influencer for Remy Martin and their products. So it's Remy VSOP, Remy 1738. Remy has like they got the Tresay, the XO, Louis the 13th. They also own a rum called Mount Gay Barbados rum, which is absolutely delicious, as well as a Cointreau, which is actually a luxury triple sec. So I do some brand influencing for that brand as well. And I'm super excited about actually I'm going to be hosting the R&B Soul Picnic in Atlanta, which is going to be Mother's Day weekend. So
Okay.
was fortunate enough to host that last year, and it was a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Over 8,000 people came out to Piedmont
Wow.
Park. Yeah, and guess what? There was no artist performing. It was all DJs.
That's
All
great.
DJs. Yes, and everybody just had a good time, and the vibe was beautiful. Nothing happened. So they're gonna do it again Mother's Day weekend at Piedmont Park. So I'm hosting that. And then I'm in the process of helping plan it's called the Elements of Hip Hop Festival, and this is going to be in Atlanta in July. So they're trying to determine whether they're going to have it at Underground or they're going to have it at Piedmont Park. But this is a celebration of 50 years, of course, of hip hop music, but it's going to be celebrating the diversity of hip hop. So it's going to be DJs and artists from not just New York, but of course, Atlanta, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, the West Coast, stuff like that. So super excited about that as well. So yeah. And then the DM has their annual event called Women's Empowerment, and that's going to be either in September or October as well, where we just celebrate women and entrepreneurship and just all kind of stuff, vendors, shopping, all that good stuff.
That's
So
it.
that's it for me. And then you guys got my information at the bottom. So thank you, Facebook and Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So, so I
Uh,
appreciate
my last call be. I do want to hit one point. Hey, we think about bringing Mayfest back.
it. I don't know.
Got to bring Mayfest back. You was here. Mayfest was here in
Um,
Columbia.
I had no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Oh, they had Mayfest back in 98, 99, 2000.
Mm-mm. Oh yeah,
Uh,
I was in
it was
Atlanta.
at it was at it was in Finley Park. downtown,
Okay.
and White Week traffic in downtown Columbia. And
Mm.
they had people, they had the stage out there, they had people performing there, all types of stuff. Then
Mhm.
people gonna be people, and there was a shooting, and a little girl got shot. But
Oh no.
overall, it was a good event that a lot of people want brought back, but nobody knows like how to bring it back. But it was
Yeah.
a dope event. It was
Hmm.
a dope event. Like the whole city would be shut down from McDonald's on Elmwood and Assembly is bumper to bumper till past Greens on Assembly Street.
That was a lot.
On both sides. No
Mhm.
side is moving freely.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it
don't
was a good
know.
one. Other
You
obviously
might
other than the
have to
shooting,
start putting it together.
man, it was a dope event for the city. Like everybody in the city, like they was waiting for that. It was it was one of those. All right, my bad. Uh,
You was just reminiscing for a minute, and
yeah,
that was good times for you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, it's nothing wrong with that. But it's just a lot of people don't know. If you don't know the ins and outs of putting an event together on a large scale like that, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money.
yeah. I understand that. The other thing is somebody they did it a long time ago. They threw a car show on Lake Murray on the backside of Lake Murray. It was crazy. People was out there jet
Mm.
skis, but the sky fell out.
Oh, that's the only thing about
That's
doing
the
stuff
only
outside.
thing that ruined it. That's the only thing. But it was they did on the backside, like on the Chapin side of Lake Murray.
Hmm.
And you go through this little wavy path, like almost like you going through Sesquicentennial Park, where you go on these little wavy paths,
Okay. Okay.
and it just opened up to this clearing, and and then it had the water, and it was nothing but us out there.
Mm.
It was a nice car show, dope car. Well, it rained, but it was it was a dope event until it rained. Like people was out there on jet skis and boats and all types of stuff. It was just different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like they have those events out there on the lake. I don't know what they call it, like Reggaetron and some other
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
those are
Yeah. Without the reggae, it was us. But now I want to say for my last call, I just want to say I want to thank Neek. Like I said, I've been hearing her for years. Don't take this person. Been hearing her for decades on the radio, at events, uh, seeing her lives pop up through other people's. Because I just became friends with you, seeing her lives pop up through other people. Uh, your voice, Prince Ice voice, Venom's voice. Like y'all got that voice that no matter what you're doing, hey, that's Neek. Hey, that's Prince Ice. Like y'all got that voice. I always
yes,
thought
we
that
all
that's
have
dope
different.
because technically, yeah, y'all are MCs because y'all can control the crowd with y'all voice because y'all voice is so powerful.
Hmm.
I just want to say thank you for coming on. I would ask you for a redo when my brother's good. Like ask for a redo like in a month or so when my brother's good because we
Okay.
got guests lined up. But if you want to come back and bless us, it'll be an open topic. We just talk about whatever.
Okay.
Um,
Well, just keep me posting and let me know.
yeah. Be blessed. Stay blessed. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is
He is
good, man.
good. Yes. Amen.
And
Thank you so much for having me, you and your brother on your platform. Carolina Dirt and Jay Walk, I'm sorry we missed you, but there'll be another time for sure. So thank you so much. Bottom
if
of
he
the
wasn't,
bottle.
thank you. If he wasn't my biological brother, I said, man, fuck that dude. If he was my biological brother, see, he's my biological brother, I can't say that. Internet always messing up. But nah. We appreciate it. We try, like I said, we trying to do something that we feel that from what we heard people in Columbia ain't doing, which is networking, and we're just trying to be that focal point. From our understanding, we're trying to be that focal point. So if anybody got anything, y'all come to us. We mess with everybody. We gonna get everybody a chance.
That's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Well, stay online for 2 seconds. We're about to close this thing out.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Ooh, buddy, I hate doing this part.